Hey, welcome back, or just welcome. If this is your first time at this channel, this is a continuation of the Honda Express Basic Repairs video series. And I'm showing a little bit of the fork replacement process. By the way, I was wrong. There were actually bearings at the bottom of the, I'll call it the headset there. Made that mistake in an earlier video. But I obtained a new to me set of forks off of eBay that are straight. The old forks were bent, severely bent. I tried to straighten them, but with no luck, and decided maybe the best route was just to replace them. So $60 later, I got a new set of forks. And I'd also posted a poll as to how the forks were bent. I don't know the real answer, but the consensus is a pothole caused the damage. I don't have any reason to dispute that. However, I wouldn't be surprised if someone was jumping it, or if maybe the Honda Express decided to take on a car and came out on the losing end of that one, because the forks were pretty bent, as well as the handlebar. The front rack was broken. The headlight is way off, etc., etc. And I think I posed several questions. Another one was, how did water get in the transmission oil? That was in an earlier video. We can only speculate, but the majority of you said no gasket was on the transmission and it was left outside in the rain, which is very possible. Could have been as a result of power washing. Who knows? But these are the mysteries that you experience when you get one of these bikes that is, you just don't know the history. But we can kind of try to unravel the history by what we observe. I'd also asked about, why was the compression so high? Didn't put a poll on that. I haven't taken the cylinder head off yet. But most likely someone probably replaced the piston and rings at some point. I was originally thinking that they had, since they put 4-stroke oil in the 2-stroke oil reservoir, that 4-stroke oil, once it gets in the cylinder, it kind of stays around and it will boost compression. I assume because it just sticks on the cylinder and maybe takes up some of the space between the rings and the cylinder as the thing's running. But I've since started it several times and ridden it a few times, and actually compression has gotten higher. And this was with just real 2-stroke oil, so I assume most, if not all, of the 4-stroke oil is out of the system. However, I do smell it in the exhaust still. And that's not surprising. It may take a while for it to completely burn out. I think the seal on the left side is fine, so I don't think it's burning 4-stroke conventional oil from the transmission. So, yeah, we'll just go with somebody replaced the piston and rings, and maybe I'll dive in there and double check that. I'd asked several questions. Why did someone put 4-stroke oil in the 2-stroke oil reservoir? Probably they were just cheap, right? I don't know. A bad decision. I mean, it'll run on that, but it won't run well. And we are still dealing with the after effects of that, because I think that 4-stroke conventional oil is built up in the exhaust, and we're still trying to burn that all out. There were some other questions I had about this bike. What were they? I think there was at least one more. I think we covered several of them. It'll probably come back to me, but there are many mysteries as to the history of this bike and similar bikes. And all you can do, I guess, is just kind of speculate, grin and bear it, and fix it, and get back to riding, right? I did talk about maybe taking the cover off the transmission and looking around in there, but I haven't noticed any unusual noises from the transmission. The kickstart seems to work well. It seems to shift great. So I don't think I'm going to mess with that. And God, what other things had we talked about on this bike? Right now it's running fine. But after, the last video you saw was of me cleaning the tank, and I'm aware of several different ways of cleaning the tank. I was just using the nuts and bolts and gas method to hopefully make it a shorter process, in that if you're just using gas, you can rinse with gas, and that kind of eliminates cleaning the tank using evaporust or vinegar or acid, then cleaning the tank again to neutralize that, and then hurrying up and putting premix, and then drying the tank. That's a big process. And then hurrying up and putting in premix so it doesn't flash rust on you. With just the gas and the nuts and bolts method, my hope was to avoid all that rinsing and drying and all that, and possible flash rusting. But we've kind of come to another issue where it runs fine for 5 minutes or so, and then it starts running really rich, four-stroking. And it's because the needle is not sealing the seat. The float needle is not sealing the seat when the float bowl is full, and it's continuing to let gas in, and gas is overflowing and gets to too high a level in the float bowl and basically makes it run rich. And that's either because more crud is escaping the tank, the gas tank, and blocking the needle, or maybe the needle's bad, or maybe the float's bad. I am going to take the carburetor off, look in the float bowl for any signs of rust, and even though I've got a paper element filter, that stuff still gets through. And if there's no signs of rust, I'm going to replace the needle. I'll examine the old needle around the tip and make sure that's not the problem. But I think I might just replace the needle if there are no signs of rust. And then here shortly you'll see it starts to run poorly, and it kind of tops out at about 20-21 miles an hour. And that is because it is getting way too much fuel. And basically the fuel level in the float bowl can really change the jetting. If it's too high, it'll run way too rich. If it's too low, it'll run too lean. Doesn't matter what size jet you have in it. And I shut up a second so you could hear. It's not going 24. The GPS is wrong. It's going about 20. Right there, it corrected itself. And we're going downhill, and it is four-stroking like crazy. So that is the next problem I need to tackle, and it may result in having to deal with the tank some more. So, hey, we've run out of video, and I've got more blah blah to say, but we're just going to end it there. Stay tuned for the next one, and we'll go from there. Hey, thanks for watching.